The cold bit through every layer Maya Rodriguez had wrapped around herself. January in Chicago meant temperatures that could kill, and tonight was one of those nights. She sat in the corner of an abandoned parking garage, her back against the concrete wall, clutching the small bundle pressed against her chest. "I can't breathe," she whispered. Her lungs felt like they were closing, each breath a struggle. The asthma inhaler had run out 3 days ago. The cloth she'd found in a dumpster covered her 3-month-old daughter, Grace. At least the baby was quiet now, nestled against her warmth. Maya's hands shook as she adjusted the blanket, making sure Grace's tiny face stayed covered from the wind. Her whole body trembled from cold and fear. This was their 3rd night here. 3 nights since the eviction. 3 nights of wondering if they'd survive until morning. The parking garage had been abandoned for months. Most lights didn't work. Broken glass scattered across the ground, but it offered some protection from the wind. Maya tried to take another breath, but her chest tightened more. The wheezing scared her. If she passed out, what would happen to Grace? She'd given birth alone in a free clinic, and the medical bills had taken everything. Her landlord didn't care. Neither did her family, who'd stopped answering her calls. "Please," Maya gasped. "Please help us." Her vision started to blur. The cold concrete beneath her felt like ice. Her thin jacket offered little protection. Grace stirred slightly. At least she was still alive, still warm enough. Maya's head fell back against the wall. Each breath came harder than the last. She couldn't keep fighting. Her eyelids felt heavy. She thought about the life she'd planned. College degree, good job, nice apartment, a father for her child who actually stayed. None of that happened. Instead, sickness during pregnancy made her lose her job. Her boyfriend disappeared when she told him she was pregnant. She got evicted because she couldn't pay rent while recovering from childbirth. "I'm sorry, baby," she whispered to her daughter. "I tried." Somewhere in the distance, she heard footsteps. Heavy boots on concrete. Her mind registered the sound but couldn't make sense of it. No one came here. The footsteps got closer. A bright flashlight beam swept across the garage level. Maya tried to call out but only managed a weak wheeze. The light moved past them, then swung back. "Oh my God," a man's voice said. The footsteps rushed toward her. Maya's eyes could barely focus, but she saw a figure in a dark blue coat kneeling beside her. Strong hands touched her shoulder. "Miss, can you hear me?" The voice was deep, urgent. Maya tried to nod. The man's hand went to the cloth covering Grace. "I can't breathe," Maya finally managed to whisper. "My baby." The man carefully lifted the edge of the cloth. His entire body went still. "There's a baby," he said, his voice cracking. "A baby out here in this cold." He immediately pulled off his expensive coat and wrapped it around both of them. The warmth felt like fire against Maya's frozen skin. "I'm calling an ambulance," he said, pulling out his phone. "Stay with me." Maya's eyes closed. She heard him talking rapidly on the phone, heard him give the address. Then she felt herself being lifted, strong arms under her knees and back. The man carried her quickly toward the exit, his coat still wrapped around her and Grace. "You're going to be okay," he kept saying. "Both of you, I promise." The cold night air hit them as they left the garage. In the distance, sirens wailed. The man held her tighter as he rushed toward a car parked nearby. Even through her fading consciousness, Maya recognized the sleek black luxury vehicle. "Who are you?" she managed to whisper. "My name is Marcus," he said. "Marcus Bennett. And I'm not leaving you." Marcus Bennett had built a fortune by paying attention to details others missed. That instinct had made him one of the youngest billionaires in Chicago. Tonight it had saved 2 lives. He'd been doing a late-night inspection of properties his company owned. The abandoned parking garage was scheduled for demolition next month. He always checked his projects personally. The sound of wheezing had been so faint he almost missed it. But something made him pause, made him turn his flashlight toward that dark corner. Now, as he drove well over the speed limit toward the hospital, Marcus couldn't stop glancing at the woman in his passenger seat. She'd passed out completely. The baby somehow remained quiet under the layers of coats he'd piled on them. "Come on," he muttered, weaving through traffic. The hospital emergency entrance appeared ahead. Marcus pulled up right to the doors and jumped out, running around to the passenger side. He carefully lifted the woman again, baby and all, and rushed through the automatic doors. "I need help," he called out. 3 nurses ran over immediately. A doctor appeared behind them. "What happened?" "I found her in an abandoned parking garage," Marcus said quickly. "She said she couldn't breathe. Has asthma, I think, and the baby's been out in the cold. Get them to Trauma 1, the doctor ordered. Now." The nurses took over, placing the woman on a stretcher. One nurse carefully took the baby, peeling back the layers of coats. "The infant is hypothermic," the nurse said. "We need the warming unit." They rushed away through double doors. Marcus stood there, suddenly alone in the waiting area. His hands were shaking. A hospital administrator approached him with a clipboard. "Sir, do you have information about the patients?" "No," Marcus admitted. "I just found them. Do you know their names?" He shook his head. "I know her first name is Maya. That's all she said before she passed out." The administrator nodded. "We'll need someone to handle the billing without insurance information." "I'll handle it," Marcus said immediately. "All of it. Whatever they need." He pulled out his wallet and handed over a black credit card. The administrator looked at the name on the card. Her eyes widened slightly. "Mr. Bennett, I didn't recognize you." "Of course, we'll take care of everything." The minutes crawled by. Marcus pulled out his phone and made several calls. First to his assistant, telling her to clear his schedule for tomorrow. Then to his lawyer, asking about resources for homeless families. Then to his mother. "You found a woman and baby in a parking garage?" his mother asked, concern filling her voice. "Yes." "They were dying, Mom. If I'd been 10 minutes later..." "You did the right thing, Marcus. Stay there. Make sure they're okay. And son, this is why I'm proud of you." Marcus sat back and closed his eyes. His mind went to his own childhood. The nights his mother had struggled to keep him and his sister warm. The times they'd slept in their car because they had no apartment. The feeling of hunger that never quite went away. He'd promised himself that when he made it, really made it, he'd help people the way strangers had helped his family. Tonight, he got that chance. A doctor came through the doors an hour later. Marcus jumped to his feet. "Mr. Bennett, I understand you brought in our patients." "How are they?" "The woman, her name is Maya Rodriguez, according to the ID we found, is stable. She has severe asthma that wasn't being treated, plus hypothermia and malnutrition. We've got her on breathing treatments and warming protocols. She should recover fully." "And the baby?" The doctor smiled slightly. "Baby Grace is tougher than she looks. 3 months old, also hypothermic and underweight, but no permanent damage. We're keeping both of them for observation. Probably 3 days minimum." Relief flooded through Marcus. "Can I see them?" "Not tonight. They both need rest. But perhaps tomorrow, if Miss Rodriguez agrees?" "Whatever they need," Marcus said. "Medical care, medications, anything. I'm covering all costs." "That's very generous." The doctor paused. "Mr. Bennett, I don't know what your relationship is with Miss Rodriguez, but you should know we've contacted social services. A mother and infant experiencing homelessness, they'll need to assess the situation. They're going to take the baby? Not necessarily, but they'll want to ensure there's a safe place for them to go after discharge." "She'll have a home," Marcus said firmly. "I'll make sure of it." Maya woke to white ceiling tiles and the steady beep of monitors. For a moment, she couldn't remember where she was. Then it all came rushing back. The cold, the garage, the man, Grace. She tried to sit up, but pain shot through her chest. Hands gently pressed her back down. "Easy now," a nurse said softly. "Your baby is fine. She's in the NICU getting warm and fed. You can see her soon." "I need to see her now." Maya's voice came out hoarse. "Please?" The nurse nodded understandingly. "Let me check with your doctor. But I promise you she's doing well." Maya lay back against the pillows. Her chest still hurt with each breath, but differently than before. She looked down and saw an IV in her arm. Monitors tracked her heart rate and oxygen levels. "Where am I?" she asked. "Memorial Hospital. You were brought in last night with severe hypothermia and an asthma attack. I can't afford any of this." The nurse smiled gently. "All your bills are taken care of. The gentleman who brought you in has arranged everything." "What gentleman?" "Mr. Bennett, Marcus Bennett. He's been calling every hour to check on you and your daughter." Maya's mind struggled to catch up. The man from the garage, Marcus. She remembered his voice, strong and sure. His warm coat. his arms carrying her. But why would he pay for all this? I don't understand, she whispered. A doctor came in then and examined Maya thoroughly, explaining her condition. Severe asthma attack, stage 2 hypothermia, dehydration, and malnutrition. But no permanent damage. She would recover. Can I see my baby now? Maya asked. 10 minutes later, Maya sat in a wheelchair next to an incubator where Grace lay sleeping. Her daughter looked so small under the warming lights, but her color was better, pink instead of blue. Tears streamed down Maya's face. I'm so sorry, baby. I'm so sorry. A NICU nurse touched her shoulder. You kept her alive out there. That takes incredible strength. You're a good mother. I almost got her killed. No, you protected her with your own body. You put her needs above yours. That's what mothers do. Maya reached through the incubator opening and gently touched Grace's tiny hand. The baby's fingers wrapped around her thumb. That simple gesture broke something open inside Maya, and she sobbed. Later that afternoon, there was a knock on her door. The nurse poked her head in. You have a visitor. Are you up for it? Maya hesitated. Who is it? Mr. Bennett. Her heart jumped. Part of her wanted to refuse, feeling embarrassed, but another part knew she owed this man her life and Grace's life. Okay, she said quietly. The man who walked through the door took her breath away. He was tall with dark hair and sharp features. He wore an expensive gray suit, but his eyes were warm as they met hers. Miss Rodriguez, he said, I'm glad to see you're doing better. Please call me Maya. She felt very aware of the hospital gown she wore. And thank you for everything, for saving us. Marcus moved closer and sat in the chair next to her bed. How are you feeling? Sore, tired, but alive. The doctor says I'll recover fully, and Grace, she's going to be fine too. I know. I've been getting updates. He paused. Maya, I grew up poor. Really poor. My mother raised me and my sister alone, and there were times we had nothing. Times we were hungry and cold and scared, but people helped us. Strangers who didn't have to care, but they did. My mother always told me that when I had the ability to help others, I should do it without expecting anything back. Tears filled Maya's eyes again. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. But I do want to ask you some questions, if that's okay. About your situation. Maya nodded and slowly told him everything. About getting pregnant and losing her job. About the medical bills from giving birth. About her family cutting her off. About the eviction 3 days ago. About the garage being the only shelter she could find. Marcus listened without interrupting. When she finished, he was quiet for a moment. Then he said, The social worker is coming tomorrow. They'll want to know you have a safe place to go before you're discharged. Maya's chest tightened with fear. Are they going to take Grace away from me? Not if I can help it. Marcus pulled out his phone and made some notes. I own several apartment buildings. I have a small 1-bedroom that just became available. It's furnished, safe neighborhood. I'd like you to stay there. I can't pay rent, Maya said, shame heating her face. I'm not asking you to, not right away. Get back on your feet first. Focus on your health and Grace's health. We'll figure out the rest later. But why would you do all this for a stranger? Marcus met her eyes directly. Because someone did it for me once. And because it's the right thing to do. Will you accept the apartment? Maya wanted to refuse. Wanted to say she'd figure it out herself. But she thought about Grace in that incubator. Thought about going back to that cold garage. Thought about pride versus survival. Yes, she whispered. Yes, I'll accept. Thank you. 3 days later, Marcus's driver pulled up to the apartment building. Maya sat in the back seat, holding Grace close. The baby wore new clothes from the hospital. Maya wore donated clothes from the hospital charity closet. Marcus was waiting outside the building entrance. He wore dark jeans and a sweater today. He smiled when he saw them. Welcome home, he said. The apartment was small but beautiful. A living room with a comfortable couch and TV, a kitchen with new appliances. Through one door, she could see a bedroom with a real bed. And in the corner of the bedroom, a crib already set up with soft pink blankets. I took the liberty of getting some things you'd need, Marcus said. But if you don't like anything, we can change it. Maya walked slowly through the space, Grace still in her arms. The refrigerator was stocked with food. The cabinets had dishes. The bathroom had towels and toiletries. The closet had clothes in her size. Diapers and baby supplies filled a dresser. She turned to face Marcus. tears streaming down her cheeks. I don't deserve this. Yes, you do. Every person deserves a safe place to live. He stepped closer. Maya, I know this is overwhelming, but I want you to understand something. This isn't charity. This is a helping hand. There's a difference. What difference? Charity makes people feel small. A helping hand recognizes that anyone can fall on hard times, and we all need help sometimes. Over the next few days, Maya settled into a routine. She took her asthma medication religiously. She fed Grace on schedule. She kept the apartment clean. And she thought about her future. Marcus called every evening to check on them. Just brief conversations, making sure they had everything they needed. On the 5th day, he came by with his laptop. I have a proposal for you, he said. My company partners with a job training program for people who faced hardships. They offer free courses in things like business administration, computer skills, customer service. Everything is online, so you can do it from home while taking care of Grace. Online courses? Maya leaned forward, interested. Yes. And when you finish, there are job placement services. Good jobs with benefits. He turned the laptop toward her. What do you think? Maya studied the screen. The courses looked legitimate, professional. I never finished college, she admitted quietly. This isn't college level, but it is valuable. Real-world skills that employers want. Marcus's voice was encouraging. You're smart, Maya, I can tell. You just need an opportunity. She looked at Grace, sleeping nearby, then back at the laptop screen. Okay, she said. Yes, I want to do this. 2 months passed. Maya threw herself into her studies with determination. Every morning while Grace played on her activity mat, Maya worked through course modules. Her grades were excellent. Marcus continued checking in regularly, at first by phone, then gradually by in-person visits. He'd stop by after work, bringing coffee or dinner. They'd talk while Grace gurgled happily nearby. Tell me about growing up, Maya asked one evening. Marcus set down his fork. It wasn't easy. My father left when I was 6. My mom worked 3 jobs to keep us fed. We moved a lot, always one step ahead of eviction. Sometimes one step behind. How did you get from there to, well, here? She gestured vaguely, meaning his success. Scholarships, hard work, and luck. Mostly luck. I started a small real estate company right when the market was shifting. Made the right investments at the right time. But I never forgot where I came from. Is that why you help people? Partly, but also because I remember what it felt like to be invisible. To have people look through you like you don't exist. His dark eyes met hers. You're not invisible, Maya. You never were. Something shifted in that moment. Something Maya had been trying to ignore for weeks. The way her heart sped up when Marcus called. The way she found herself thinking about him at random moments. The way Grace seemed to light up when he visited. She was developing feelings for him. Real feelings. And that terrified her. The next week, Grace had her 6-month checkup. Marcus offered to drive them. In the waiting room, he made funny faces that had Grace giggling. She likes you, Maya observed. I like her too. She's a special kid. He tickled Grace's foot gently. She's going to do amazing things someday. The pediatrician was impressed with Grace's progress. She's gained weight beautifully. All her developmental milestones are on track. You're doing an excellent job, Mom. As they left the clinic, Grace fell asleep in her car seat. Marcus drove slowly, careful not to jostle her. Thank you for coming today, Maya said quietly. It meant a lot having someone there. I'm glad I could be here. He glanced at her briefly. Maya, can I ask you something? Sure. When you finish your courses next month, what do you want to do? What kind of job are you hoping for? She'd thought about this a lot. Something with people. I like helping others. Maybe administrative work at a hospital or nonprofit. Something that makes a difference. Would you consider working for my company? Maya's head turned sharply toward him. What? I need someone in my foundation office. Someone who understands what it's like to need help. Who can connect with the people we serve. He pulled up to a red light and looked at her fully. You'd be perfect for it. Good salary, benefits, childcare assistance. And before you ask, no, this isn't special treatment. It's a real job with real expectations. But I think you'd excel at it. Marcus, I haven't even finished my courses yet. But you will. And when you do, the job is yours if you want it. Maya's mind spun. A real job with Marcus's company. It was an incredible opportunity, but doubt crept in. People will say I'm only getting it because you helped me, she said quietly. They'll say I don't deserve it. People will always talk. What matters is what you know about yourself. The light turned green and he drove forward. You're smart, hardworking, and compassionate. That's exactly who I need on my team. So what do you say? She thought about her options. She could refuse and try to find something else, proving she could do it alone. But refusing help out of pride was what had nearly gotten her and Grace killed. She'd promised herself to never let pride hurt her daughter again. Yes, she said. I accept. Thank you. Marcus's smile was radiant. You won't regret it. Maya completed her final course exam on a bright March morning. She submitted it, then sat back and stared at the screen. Done. She'd actually done it. Her phone rang almost immediately. Marcus, how did it go? He asked. I just finished. I think I did well. Of course you did. This calls for a celebration. Can I take you and Grace to dinner tonight? Something in his voice sounded different. Lighter, almost nervous. That would be nice. That evening, Marcus picked them up. Instead of his usual casual clothes, he wore a dark blue button-down shirt. He'd gotten a haircut. Maya noticed these things and tried not to read too much into them. Over dinner, they talked about her upcoming job start date, about the better apartment he'd mentioned, about Grace's first birthday plans still months away. I had a great time, Maya said as he walked her to her door later. So did I. Can we do it again? I'd like that. He leaned in slowly, giving her time to pull away if she wanted. She didn't want to. Their lips met in a soft, sweet kiss that made her toes curl. When they pulled apart, both were smiling. Good night, Maya. Good night. Over the next month, they saw each other regularly. Dinner dates when they could arrange babysitters. Lunch together at work. Walks in the park on weekends with Grace in her stroller. They took it slow, getting to know each other. Marcus called her at work one Tuesday morning, his voice tight with stress. Can you come to my office? There's a situation. She found him surrounded by papers, laptop open. His hair was messed up. Dark circles showed under his eyes. What's wrong? The Riverside project fell through. The investor pulled out last minute. He gestured at the papers. That was the funding for 3 new community centers. Without it, I'll have to cut programs, maybe lay off staff. She moved around the desk and took his hands. We'll figure something out. I don't know how. Maya's mind raced. What if we didn't rely on one big investor? What if we got the community itself involved? The churches, the local businesses, the neighborhood groups. What if we brought them all together, asked each to contribute what they could? Marcus sat up straighter. Community investment, exactly. And it would give them ownership in the project. Make it truly theirs. That could work. His mind was clearly spinning. We'd need someone to coordinate it. I can do it, Maya said immediately. This would be on top of your current job. It's a lot of work, I know, but these are my people. I want to fight for them. He stood and pulled her into a hug. You're incredible. You know that? Over the next 2 weeks, Maya worked harder than she ever had. She set up meetings with every church, business, and community group in Riverside. She explained the vision. The response was overwhelming. Churches pledged funds and volunteers. Local businesses offered materials at cost. Residents organized fundraisers. Maya coordinated it all. Marcus watched in awe as she pulled together what his big investor couldn't do alone. You're a natural leader, he told her one evening. You see possibilities where others see problems. 3 weeks after the crisis started, they had enough commitments to move forward. Not the grand plan originally envisioned, but something better. A true community project. The publicity brought in additional donations. The project not only survived, but grew. You saved this, Marcus told her at the groundbreaking ceremony. You saved all of it. We saved it together. He looked at her with such love that her breath caught. Maya Rodriguez, you've changed my life. You know that? You changed mine first. That night, after Grace was asleep, Marcus pulled out a small box. Maya's heart stopped. Wait, he said quickly. Not yet. I want to do this right, but soon. I want you to know that's where my head is, where my heart is. Maya took the box and opened it. Inside was a simple gold bracelet with a small charm, a heart with the word grace engraved on it. "For now," he said softly, "to remind you that you gave me grace, too." She put it on, her eyes filling with tears. "I love you, Marcus. I love you too. So much." 6 months later, on a crisp October evening, Marcus arranged for Maya's friend to take Grace for the night. He told Maya to dress nicely but wouldn't say why. "Where are we going?" she asked as they drove. "You'll see." He pulled up to a familiar building, the original community center, once the parking garage where he'd found her. It was dark except for lights on the 3rd floor. "Why are we here?" Maya asked. "Come with me." He led her inside and up the stairs. When they reached the 3rd floor, Maya gasped. The space had been transformed. White lights strung everywhere, candles in safe holders, flowers, music playing softly, and photos covering one wall, pictures of Maya and Marcus over the past year, of Grace growing, of the 3 of them together. "Marcus, what is this?" "This is where we started." He took both her hands. "Do you remember that night?" "Of course. I'll never forget it. Finding you changed everything." "You changed me." His voice was thick with emotion. He dropped to one knee. Maya's hands flew to her mouth. "Maya Rodriguez, this past year with you has been the happiest of my life. You're smart, strong, compassionate, and beautiful inside and out. You're an amazing mother, an incredible partner, my best friend." He pulled out a ring box and opened it. A simple diamond sparkled in the candlelight. "Will you marry me? Will you let me spend the rest of my life loving you and Grace? Will you be my family?" A year ago, she'd been dying in this very building, hopeless and alone. Now she stood here, loved and valued, with a beautiful daughter and a man who saw her worth. She could say no, could protect herself. But that wasn't who she was anymore. She was someone who accepted help when offered, someone who believed in second chances, someone who chose hope and love over fear. "Yes," she said, her voice strong and sure. "Yes, I'll marry me." Marcus stood and slipped the ring onto her finger, then pulled her into a kiss that felt like coming home. When they finally pulled apart, both were crying and laughing. "I love you so much," he whispered. "I love you too. Thank you for seeing me, for not walking past that night. I'll never walk past. Not then, not now, not ever." They held each other in the space where their story began, surrounded by lights and photos and the promise of forever. They danced slowly in that candle-lit space, music playing softly, the city lights visible through the windows. This building that had once held only cold and despair now held warmth and promise. Maya thought about baby Grace, sleeping peacefully, about the wedding they'd planned, about the future they'd build together, about all the families they'd helped through the foundation. "What are you thinking about?" Marcus asked. "About how sometimes the worst night of your life leads to the best days ahead. About how accepting help isn't weakness, it's wisdom. About how love really does conquer fear." "You're going to make me cry again." She smiled up at him. "Good. I like seeing your emotions. Then you'll love being married to me." "I'll probably cry at the wedding." "Me too. Happy tears, though. The best kind." Later, as they stood on the roof looking out over the city, Marcus wrapped his arms around her from behind. "Ready to start planning a wedding?" "Ready to start planning a life." "Even better." Maya leaned back against Marcus's solid warmth and smiled. She'd survived the worst, accepted help without shame, built a new life through hard work and love, and now she was choosing happiness without hesitation. Hope really did lead the way. Kindness really did matter. And love, real love, really could heal all wounds. "Let's go home," she said. "To Grace, to our family." They walked down together, hand in hand, the ring sparkling on Maya's finger. Behind them, the lights of the community center glowed warm and bright, a beacon of hope for anyone who needed it, just like Marcus had been for her, just like she would be for others. The circle of kindness complete.